What's up, everybody? Hello. Thank you for being here and welcome to Comic Book Radio. This is episode 107. I'm your host, Peter Cimetti, and tonight my guest is Jeremy THEVENOT, and we're going to be talking about comic books, game development, developing comics into games, developing games into comics, so on and so forth. It's going to be fun. We haven't had this talk on this channel yet, and I think Jeremy's the right man for it. I'm very, very interested. Unhinged, what's up? We got Jason in the house. Jason was on last night. That was a great show. Says Jeremy is a talented cat. Look at that. What Geeks Do Network, what's up? Says excited for the show. I'm excited too, man. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to tap into a couple of we're going to travel uncharted territory tonight. We haven't had this conversation yet. Dr. Mask, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Shrek PMC in the house. What's up, Shrek? Hope you're doing good. Brian Suddenly Old. Hope you're having a great Friday, my friend. Thank you for being here tonight. Grape Nuka-Cola. What's up, Grape Nuka-Cola? Says, hey, chat. Hey, Pete. Hope everyone's having a good night. Hope you're having a good night, too. The Beam Pad. What's up? The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows, that's for sure. That is for sure. But it doesn't always have to be that way. Some days it's great. Some days it ain't so great. But we got to find a way to try to make them great. Manny Cornejo, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Hail chat, thought I was going to miss this one. Oh, I'm glad you didn't miss this one. We've got a jam-packed November, and December is pretty much full as well. Even with the holidays, it's still a very packed schedule. So make sure you guys are subscribed. YouTube's been doing the thing again. It just wrecked some havoc today. All over the place on these subs. So make sure you're subscribed. Or if you don't want to be subscribed, it's your choice. You're missing out, but it's your choice. If you enjoy the shows that have been on the channel, we got some good ones coming up, just like tonight. Make sure you're subscribed. Real JBC, what's up? Says, oh my God. That's appropriate for tonight. Good response. What's up, Rain7? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. And What Geek says, yeah, what's up with that? I don't know. Some people are telling me like every day, and then I'm seeing also the subs kind of fluctuate. Sometimes wildly, like it'll go down 5, up 5, and maybe then up 2 again, and then down 1, and it's all over the place. It's not really normal pattern behavior for this sort of stuff, but it is what it is, right? Just make sure you guys are subscribed if you enjoy these, and make sure you ring the bell for notifications, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, guys, everybody, yeah, and not just this channel too, yeah, a lot of channels, I'm seeing it, a lot of channels. Maybe we get a little too controversial on the show. I don't know. Tonight shouldn't be that crazy, but who knows? I don't know. I do know Jeremy's a great dude, and we're going to bring him on right now. Say hello to the man of the hour, Mr. Jeremy THEVENOT. What's up, Jeremy?
All right, Pete, how are you? Time to get crazy. Hi.
So incredibly weird.
Wow, zoinks.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And yeah, I mean, you've been getting some cool cats on your show, bro. Like Darkwing Duck, like it's awesome. And then Jason, yeah, I mean, it's always good to see him around Unhinged, and he's a good artist as well. Love the work he does.
Yeah. No, there's been a lot of great people coming on the show lately, especially. It's been a blast, man. I can't believe we're at episode 107. And then the rest of this month is going to be really fun. A lot of great people on. And then December is going to be killer. It's going to be great. December in particular, I'm trying to get one person that I can't make any promises of yet. But I already talked to them, and they said, okay, I tried to book them in October because I booked out most of December. And I was like, all right, I'll keep a couple of days open for December and maybe we could work on it. He's like, get in touch with me at that point of time. But
Hmm.
I'm not going to reveal who it is just yet in case we can't make it work. But it'll be a fun one if I can get this individual on. But either way, enough about them. Let's talk about you. Now, you're developing some pretty intense stuff. Even I took a look at your Beckoned on Steam,
Hmm.
and that's just crazy, man.
I
Like I'm,
appreciate that.
yeah, I'm out of my depth with all of that.
Mm,
I'm partially in my depth with everything else,
mm.
just like doggy paddling,
Well,
right?
you've got a beautiful thing going on with alternate
But
comics. I mean,
I'm
it's
winging
beautiful.
it.
We all are. It's with my good arm, with my good chicken wing.
Right? Yeah.
We're trying.
Like I say, I don't speak from expertise. I speak from experience. Expert, what's that?
Yeah.
So, as far as what you're doing both making a comic and a game.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with all of that?
I've been doing art since a kid. I don't want to do all that. You can go on all kinds of different channels. I find myself keep explaining where I came from artistically and stuff because it's really the sail or the wind in the sail that keeps kind of pushing me to do something. But I've been developing this world since in high school. It's what kind of got me into a scholarship at Savannah College of Art Design in Georgia. And I just kind of came back to it later on in life. I worked at a couple game studios, one with Joe Catapano, that you all know of Star Circuit. We went to the same high school. Our family's pretty close. It's
Oh, no way.
yeah. So he always wanted to do a comic book. At the same time, he said I was inspired. He was inspired by me, like starting to get my game going. So paid for the trademarks for that. Opened up the company. Been paying taxes every year since. But I was taking what the knowledge that I had gained from working with these other companies and real close. I mean, these were indie companies, so I was next to the guy running the show. He's asking my opinion, or a whole team of people, and I've got to kind of guide a whole team of animation guys into a direction artistically. So I'm the concept artist. Joe was the concept artist. He would come into us, be like, I want this, I want that, I want this. And
Wow.
we would have to just, but it was awesome experience. The next job I went to, I was the sole artist for two programmers on a RPG. So that's where I had to really dig my heels in and go, can I hold the art for a whole company and a game the whole way? And I was able to figure it out. So coming out of that, I go, let me set my own thing up and try to do this myself. So I got in and started realizing this world that I've been concepting for 10, 15 years and I had to downgrade it because all the time I wanted to make a Lord of the Rings trilogy, Final Fantasy type epic. So it's got
Wow,
three
man.
games, but it's like on a Final Fantasy scale of each game, but they all tie together. What are you laughing about?
You're going for it. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So, but when I'm wanting to do it myself without a big giant team that's going to make 3D realism and all these, fancy stuff, I said I like the JRPGs like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy
Yeah.
6. I can break it down into 2D. How far am I willing to go to the animation? And what you saw on Steam is you see where I'm pushing the art. It's the same techniques of sprite based, but these are giant sprites. These are 19 by 20, 1080 giant sprites for the combat system. It's a lot of memory, and a lot of people are like, you don't design a video game, especially the indie, your first one being the scope I'm going for. But I'm sorry, I'm jumping around. Hit that. I decided to take the big adult version and break it down to a cartoon, smaller game, and then said, well, that'll be my Hobbit. That'll be like the characters are younger, they're children, they're getting started on this big grand adventure.
Good idea.
And if that succeeds, I'll take the coffers there and invest into the whole trilogy later with a bigger team, make it more AAA if you can.
Has that ever been done? I'm trying to think. I'm not well versed in
I don't
games.
know.
I know a lot, but then I always find I don't know much about anything of it. I don't know. Has that ever been done where you're almost like following it like that, like the Hobbit to like there's a
I don't
progression
know.
of
I
time
haven't.
and aging among games and things like that?
I don't know. To me, it was an idea that I wanted to. I wanted to do
I
it.
dig
I
that.
want
I
to
like
grow
that
with the
idea.
characters. There's also some lore. If you've heard me talk before, I get into fractal sci-fi stuff like that. Think like portals, quantum physics, the cosmology and stuff. I'm a real nerd about a lot of that stuff. So I tie,
Oh man, don't tell me that, man.
yeah, I
All
tie
right,
a lot of that in
I'm
to the
gonna not go down
underlining
that.
things with this. So the world building and everything is,
That's great.
yeah, um, very fun. But that allows me to do this whole, oh, it's Hobbit here, and then they grow older and not really losing it. In fact, there's a chunk there.
Yeah.
It's like that tells a whole different thing that's going on.
I dig
Uh,
that. Yeah, because I
yeah,
see a lot of that in RPGs where obviously your character grows, they gain experience,
yeah.
achievements, etc. But it's not really like the age progression, and you're not really.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm
Well,
not sure if anyone else has done that, but I really dig that. That's a really cool way to Unhinged wants us to go down that rabbit hole. No, we got to stay focused. I'll have Jeremy on for another show for that.
awesome. No, I want to be able to grow with the characters, and the amnesic character is kind of a trope, but when you're dealing with a new fantasy world and trying to get an audience kind of with it, it's as long as you do it well, like you can do it, but you really got to write that and not use flashbacks, and, overly use them. If you're gonna
Yeah.
really play, like I wanted a character that we can grow to be a hero with, even a reluctant one. Like, it's just, I'm here and I have the choice to make a change. Do I do it, or am I too nervous, or are my knees too weak, or am I too afraid? Instead, we're going to see this kid be hit with a bunch of tests along the way. And hopefully we go through those choices with them. And it's, hopefully I'm hitting subjects people can relate to, so we get along with that. So,
Yeah.
and it's
yeah.
not just him, it's other friends. He's got these two other, cats with him. So that, it balances off. Each of their personalities are kind of, if I was a, DID, personality disorder, I guess they could kind of hit what I've been inspired by from certain characteristics of friends, family, stuff like these, inspired by this adventure thing that I had as a kid. I always grew up in the woods playing. I've hunted, elk in north in Colorado, and with my dad at 16. I've done sword stuff for Ren fairs, blacksmith, archery. Like, it's just, I can't keep my hands still. So when I came out and started doing this, Joe's doing a comic book, I'm sitting here doing a game, and I'm like, I gotta find programmers. That's hard, especially when you're like, I'm the artist, look at all this great art. They're like, you don't design a game. Back to my point, like I said, mark that, here we're back. So I'll follow myself through. They tell you don't make a game based off of the art. Not start, like, you're making a game mechanic, like a Rubik's Cube, a puzzle, a game, a toy. You hire your artist after you've done the mechanics, you test them out, everything, if that's a fun mechanic. But I've saw that happen. If you're going to just try to think if it's going to be fun without all the effects and without all the fluff that everyone else is going to feel, how are you going to tell if it's fun or not? I can understand, oh, that's a cool mechanic, that's an eat puzzle, but you can't get inspired if you're not seeing
that's part of the fun.
some
It's
life
it's
in
one
it.
thing if it's all razzle dazzle, flash, and no substance. That's
Yeah,
one thing. But
yeah.
if you're gonna have some substance there, why
And,
not
and I didn't
spice
wake
it
up.
up?
Yeah, I didn't wake up one morning and go, I want to be a game designer. I actually came through this. And so I've been playing tabletop games since a kid, like Rollmaster, Dungeons and Dragons. Rollmaster is kind of a niche one, but I like that system. And
So this is a long time coming.
and I've played RPG video games, from CRPGs, like Baldur's Gate, Diablo, those type, or Planescape Tournament I just recently replayed. I'm deep into the way that these type of stories, the imagination, can grab people in a time where escapism, we're going to need a lot more of that coming soon. Just to inspire people to keep moving.
Absolutely. And that's the thing too. You touch upon a good point there, because a lot of people think escapism is all about ignoring reality, distraction, purely distraction, right? Now, yes, but the good stuff helps you deal with reality.
Mm-hmm. It's inspiring, or it can give a compass to someone who never thought of it that way before. The context, the nuance of the way you even said the line, or wrote the line or displayed it, all of those little nuances can really hit people. And that's why I'm trying to take my time, make sure everything's in its right place, because I don't want their attention and then not be present in that moment at any time in making even the game. So like I said, Joe's doing a comic book. I'm having a hard time finding programmers, and it's just me. But I'm getting a couple things happening, not too much. And Joe's over there going, man, I love my comic book. And I'm sitting there going, all I have to do is draw the whole thing. I have to write. I can do it. I can do it all. I don't have to get programmers. Joe, I want to do a comic book. So I saw him getting Star Circuit, and we talked a lot about world building. And that's one of the things I actually love doing the most. Did you ever see, I'm sure you have, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Or read the book? Of course. So there's towards the end where they're building New Earth. They're planet builders, right? I was like, the closest thing I could get to that is concepting like a world, for its story. I think it's awesome to be able to, if I made something, how real, captivating, or, I don't know, it just captivated me more. So seeing him move through it, having those conversations, seeing everything kind of come to life on my end, like the more images I got, I ended up, my older brother was working in energy. He came out of the military, working on a Gatling gun. That he was what did he say? Gunner? Sorry, I forget what rank he told me. He's gonna get mad at me, but he came out of the military programming stuff for energy companies, and I visited him in Texas and said, here's all the stuff assets. So I made sprites already. I already made, because I know what I want. I already made the environment background. I made the collisions shapes to keep, if y'all know game programming, you kind of get what I'm saying, but they keep your character in the walls. So, and I did it in a certain way that I learned through seeing other people do different things. And then my creative brain goes, okay, but I can do this with that. I can take that simple concept. And so I built it in a certain way, but I had the assets on my Google Mail on my drive. And so I went visit him. I said, here's Unreal. I think it was Unreal 4 at the time. I said, here are the assets. And we sat down for 9 hours. At the end of that, he had the character running around, everything working. I said, are you interested in helping me? He said, yeah. I had my whole folder here. I went through everything. I showed him everything, told him the story aim and what the concept design is going to be. And he's been with me since. And so what you see on Steam, this is his first video game. It's not, and it's playable. You can go try it. So and we have an update, but we're not going to update the Steam. I've got to go push this to some publishers because a few of them have been coming up.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just gonna ask that. Yeah, but before I ask a question for you, Grape Nuclear Cola has a question. It says, "Hey, Jeremy, I saw the screenshots on Steam for your game.
Oh yeah.
Are there any plans for a console release?
When we get the PC done and that's out, and it's doing well, then yeah, I want it on Switch immediately. And so we looked into that. We already know you kind of just have to pay. They'll jury your thing. Especially now, it's kind of the Wild West on both Steam and all these, shops. There's not much jurying going on as long as you have the cash to get into it. And your code is clear. Like, they still have to go, okay, yeah, you're good. But it's not that hard anymore. I don't want to be one of the games that are pieces of crap swamping the, the shop up. So I'm
Well, yeah,
taking.
especially, I mean, if you guys haven't seen any of it yet, the link is in the description. You guys have done your work design wise, and it looks like a lot of fun. That's why, yeah, I don't think, and I understand the ability of what you're trying to do, and the time and the energy and really caring about that it's good. Because at the same time where you're putting in a lot of great work into that design and everything else too, man, if it turns into a clunker like you said, that hurts.
Bad, that would hurt. How long have I worked on this? Like
Yeah,
that. Oh, that
So
feels
what's
like that movie, the Room.
Oh, well,
That?
I mean, then it could go the
I
other
feel
way,
like
I guess.
Tommy
You could
Wiseau.
make like it's so incredibly bad, it's genius.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be my next thing. I'm telling you.
But how far along in the development are you on the game?
There are a couple mechanics that we need built. They're already planned. I've already got them listed and charted out. I know percentile balances just to hold it in place so we can get it moving. And I only mean like I could count them. Well, hold on, I'm missing a finger on this one. So I could count them on this hand. Like there's not too. They're more like items in the spell system, which that in and of itself, I have a cool little twist with how spells could be layered on to wreak cause and effect type stuff. I don't want to be too descriptive.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
but,
yeah.
the combo systems in the crystal situation, which we call them load-ins in this world. That's in. You can equip them. They change the type of spells you can cast and the combos that you do. Those are all mechanically in. Not only animation, but all the mechanics. Technically, we are close to being out of pre-production. What does that break into? Just me and him have been doing this. We're going to need more people. I've got the whole game charted out. I know from level 1 to level 100. Or at least level 50. Some are these RPGs, you can actually just get to like halfway through the levels and you're at the end of the game. Then if you want to be a completionist, you can raise it. Then there should be enough content too to facilitate that, like hidden bosses, hidden items, things that are post into the game type stuff, just some extras. But I got it all charted out. So I've broken down all mine and his jobs into 18 jobs. So if we hired out subcontract or temporary hire to get certain stuff, but the architecture of it is done. Dwight's been, other than those handful of mechanics I was talking about, it's there. So we have a game, we have a structure. We just
have you brought the game at all to crowdfunding or just the comic?
I did it. Okay, yeah, that gets us back to seeing Joe do a comic book, and he goes, all right, so crowdfunding. Have you ever heard of it? So we started, he was talking to me about it. I saw him go through. I was like, I tell you what, Joe, by the time you're done with your book, I'll be done with our prototype. And what was fun is that worked right. As soon as we were done, Joe's like, okay, so I'm going to do crowdfunding. I was like, okay. So I looked into it. Seemed like a good idea. I did it. I don't know comic aid. I don't know. I spent time in a comic book, not reading a comic book store as a kid, not playing comic books. I was playing Dungeons and Dragons or Pokemon cards. I was seeing Darkness comic and everything like that. And even the shop owner knew I was drawing D&D characters and making money to get breadsticks from Little Caesars next door to keep playing. So he saw me drawing. He was like, I make my own comics too. He was a pastor or a youth pastor. So he was making these Christian comics they looked crazy cool. So he was selling me comic book paper, and I was just trying. I didn't know what I was doing. But then Joe's doing this, and so I'm like, okay, I have a new medium to learn, comic books. It's another way of telling a story. And there's an honesty to it. Obviously, there's fans here. Although, obviously, it's a passion of so many people. There's something to this. And I, like a dwarf, wanted to dig for it. I mean, like in Lord of the Rings, like those doors. I wanted to mine and figure out where the mithril was in this idea. what this fandom was about. And I found a way. I said, the only way I'm going to find is if I try to tackle this medium and dive headfirst into it. And I had some backstory to my game that I could start to go, okay, if I went this way, tandem with the game. And Joe's like, well, dude, most people make a comic first and then they go, like Battle Chasers.
Yeah.
You know, he was like Battle Chasers. Like, it's a good game, but the guy made the comic first. And you got Trent Kanuga. Great example right there. His new Twilight Monk looks beautiful. You know, it's great. So I was like, okay, so I tried to crowdfund the game. You know, I was working during Gamergate. I wasn't around. I was busy. I wasn't around any political or anything on internet. I even went to GDC out in San Francisco. Yeah, in the Tenderloin. And Dave Chappelle's right. There's nothing tender about the Tenderloin. So, you know, it was rough. But the con was cool, very inspiring. But they had like talks labeled the Indie-pocalypse. And this was right, and it was all about Gamergate. I think even one talk was actually labeled. So I didn't.
What year was this?
2015 and 16. I went 2 years in a row. It was wild to see people talking about it, but the professionals weren't really worried. You know, the ones that have been doing it's like, yeah, that's just what's going on. So when I got into this and I tried to crowdfund a video game to comic book fans, and I'm asking for $68,000 to y'all thought I was crazy. I didn't. So, you know, but I learned, I understood. You know, I got to meet all the. Dude, you were the first show I was on.
No way! Wow.
Yeah.
On an open mic.
Yeah, when Noah was on.
Yeah.
That was, and it was cool to meet everyone, and then I got to learn who's the artist or who's doing what kind of styles are out there, how experimental like can you really be, what's the breadth of this.
Yeah,
it was so cool. So yeah, of course it didn't hit. It rose almost $9,000. I mean, hey, cool. You know, that was awesome. That was very.
You had a fixed goal, right? A fixed, not a flexible.
Yeah, I had a fixed. Yeah. So if we didn't hit 68K, we weren't gonna.
Yeah, that's the danger too with the flexible goal when people hit, you know, something so high
mine
there
was
for
fixed.
a goal, and but
I
with the
wanted
fix,
to be
good.
honest and be like, we need this to do this. If we don't get there, I'm not gonna put you all in a weird position, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I mean, you obviously learned a lot that you have to do the crowd building part to have the crowdfunding part succeed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the crowd fun. Like, you got to get that. And even I got too busy. Obviously, you look at my art style, it takes a lot of discipline and time to do. And even right now, I could do a lot. I need to spoof up my website. I need to get to work on my channel and making more things happen, even pre-recorded some stuff, because I can do that, but I'm trying to get this book out. It's already a couple months late because this is my first time. And so jumping ahead again.
Did you crowdfund the book?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So right after
that
the
was
game,
successful?
Yeah. Yep. I think it rose its goal on Bancroft's in 24 minutes.
Oh,
so
what was your goal? Did you do one of those like $500 goals?
No, $5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice.
It was a legit goal. But that was awesome, and everyone came out for it. And like you said, the crowd part is like I made new friends. I got it. I found this new little space and all this, and I've even said on streams, like, ever since, this is the most creative group of artists and people I've been with since college. Like, if I need an artist, I can ask anybody I've connected with through here, and someone could point me somewhere for something. Or a writer or anything, an editor.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just it's awesome once you get into it and you're willing to be like, hey, what's up? And make those kind of it's kept me moving forward. And I didn't have a comic style starting up. I didn't have a style. So I start going in doing thumbnails. Noah's on my stream going, those aren't thumbnails. Those are too detailed to be thumbnails. Don't do it.
How big are you working on your thumbnails that are too detailed?
I was actually working at them at page size, 11 by 17, but I was trying to get rough gestures done. My rough gestures.
Brother, they're called thumbnails because they're like,
I got
like
that.
But
you can just zoom out in Photoshop and now it's a thumbnail. You can zoom all the way back out.
No, it's like you're making complete pages.
No. They were very scribbly, very rough pages. I mean, it was rough. But what it did is it helped me kind of explore the space, figure out, especially when I'm reading some other people's stuff or seeing other people's campaigns. I mean, even Roquefort, giant inspiration for layouts and stuff. And the beginning of my book, the paneling is very, very rigid, kind of, conventional. I'm still using full bleed mostly. And, I think every page is, sorry guys. But like once the action starts kicking in, like that's the time I read Groken and Groken 2. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, dang, I could have a lot more fun with some panels than what I'm doing. So I'm starting to take those crazy thumbnails and change. So, Joe was talking about explore it, edit it, figure out the right angle. Don't be stuck to just an idea just because you got it out. And I'm with them 100%. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to get them out so I can know what the story I'm putting down. And even Noah's like, you don't have a script yet? Why are you drawing? Because it's in my head. I want to draw it, and then I'll write it. If I have to change something in the drawing, no big deal. But it's all out of order. That's the other thing people will watch me do.
Well, you're the only person on the creative team for the comic, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing the lettering.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
All of it.
Although I think Noah's the only person on his too.
Mm-hmm,
but
I think so.
He's a youngin', so he's gonna go the more tried and true traditional route at first.
As he should. As he should.
But you're living in that world already.
The lettering. I mean, I had to learn a lot of lessons for lettering. A lot of just like conventional stuff that because I'm not a fan, or I haven't grown up being a fan of comics. Like my whole. Sorry, I got a whole thing right here. That's all comic skate books. That's all you guys. That's everybody. Wow. And I've read a few of them, and it just looking through that, finding online resources on bubble styles, how they actually work, what's the language, the readability, kerning, letter kerning.
Letting and kerning.
Yeah, it's been a crazy adventure for me to pick up this medium, but I totally been humbled by it.
Kerning, by the way, everybody, the space between
letters.
The letters. Yeah. Letting space between the lines.
Or even for your onomatopoeias, like stacking them, staggering them,
Yep.
Depending on what you're doing. Or, I mean, again, the size of the letter in the line, can show emphasis or quiet, just how you're even sizing the letters inside it's an option. That's the other thing is like, the more I learn to communicate through this medium. And that's what's been crazy.
Absolutely. All right, man. We're going to take a quick break. I got a couple of questions in the chat that are highlighted. I'll get to those when we get back. We'll take a quick break, and I'm going to put the link in the chat for you guys in case you want to pop in and ask a question or give a comment, whatever it may be, to Jeremy. You're watching Comic Book Radio. This is episode 107. I'm your host, Peter Cimetti. Tonight, my guest is Jeremy THEVENOT. We're going to be right back. 1 minute. Don't go anywhere. See ya. Let's try this again. Welcome back. I don't know what happened with that first time. It just froze completely, and I'm like, all right, that's going to have to replay. Exactly, Shane. Yeah, technology works sometimes and doesn't other times. Absolutely. That's of course, yeah, Core Draft trailer for Andy Smith and Dennis Turner's comic. All right, so here is the link, guys. If you want to pop in and say hello, please feel free to do so. There's a link right there in the chat for you. I've got a couple questions highlighted, like I said. And let's see here what we got. So, What Geeks Do Network says, what are your thoughts on Shane Davis's Accent Level Up, a comic about a video game? Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not familiar with this current IP. I'm not. I did back sort of like Cats. I love his artwork. Was one of those artworks I looked up to because of its cleanliness. It's pretty much your comic book style, and I love the way he was doing certain figures, and he's keeping that in his contours. And again, I'm kind of high level art talking on contours, line weights, all that. It's just he was. I don't know much about it, but I love the art. I saw I've seen some of the images, so the concept of the character looks crazy cool. I love it. And if he's going like super cosmic crazy, that would be awesome. I would love to see like a Civilization 10, like Kardashev scale level 10, like Civilization comic, if it can be visualized. It'd be nuts.
I haven't looked into it too much. I'm gonna have Shane on the show in a couple of weeks, but I wonder if he's and maybe he even explains it on the campaign or something like that. But I wonder if he's going kind of like the Ender's Game route, where it's sort of like someone's controlling them, or this simulation reality is actually occurring, or I wonder what he's doing with that. But it looks very interesting. So I'll talk to Shane about that though when he's on the show. Also, speaking of another Shane O'Sullivan says, just check the game on Steam, and it looks class on my watch list. Where can we see a link to the comic?
Well, right now the campaign is closed. Like I said, it was August when I was supposed to be delivering it, and I'm still working on the artwork. A couple more people had tried to purchase or had purchased some or backed it a couple times, couple of the perks. I didn't feel right because it's already late, so I closed it, publicly let everyone know, hey, and now every 2 months I'm giving a dump. Here are the pages I got done. Here's the chart of how complete I'm done. I'm just trying to make sure that everyone knows I'm still doing it. It's something I'm going to be very proud of when I'm done. So
that's great, man.
Yeah.
I do have a link to your YouTube. Do you have a comic trailer or anything like that on there? Do you have even anything that you can show us real quick?
Give me one second. There is zaidstudios.com, actually. That's the website I got. Give me a second.
Okay. If I don't have that up in the description, I'll put that in after the show.
Sorry about that, Pete.
No problem. And Metatron says, don't let Shane send one of his doubles. It'll be the Shane Davis. It's
in the privy chat if you want to post the link. But yeah, just zaidstudios.com. Send you right to it. The website itself is broken up into 3 tabs up at the top. The first tab is what it opens on. It's just kind of a who we are, what's going on. I haven't really updated it for a minute. Again, I've been drawing my butt off. The second tab on the top that covers the video game stuff. So the world building, the characters, even old drawings from back in the day. Like I've even got a chapter that's 12 pages. That's an intro, like prologue that is a wink hint to some of the stuff I'm drawing in these books coming up after this one. But yeah, the third tab is the comic book tab as it was made. There's a trailer there made by Dying Days. He did a lot of Dying Days of YouTube. He did a lot of cool trailers and stuff. So he did the trailer for that. Looks awesome, super sweet. But yeah, that's until it delivers, which I can't wait till it's done. And fulfillment, I hear, is a nightmare, but I'm gonna try.
Well, how many backers do you have? Roughly?
130. I'm gonna say around 130. I really want to know. I should know that by heart.
It shouldn't be too bad. It should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, 141. Yeah, so 141 backers. And a lot of my stuff is books.
Yeah, you can do it.
which was great. Posters. I've got all the parcel tubes taking up a bathroom. And then I've got the things like the daggers, the crystal daggers that I had made. I got 3 of those to make, which they're already halfway done. I've been showing some of the progress when I get done with them.
Nice.
Portraits I've been doing on my show. I've been working on them for an hour or two, and then I touch them up a little bit after, because I want to make sure that they look awesome for everyone when they get them. But yeah, a lot of it's in-house. Like, the only thing that's not in-house is all the printing. So I'm casting little crystals to throw out too. So it's
how big is the book?
32 pages.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, 32 pages. I got a couple extra pages, but not like just to fluff it up. I sold it, or I put it on the campaign for 32 pages, so that's what you're getting in the story, right? All the way, the story is 32 pages. So I made a star chart, because I made a whole world map that I'm keeping conducive with the game and everything.
Nice,
so I was
nice.
like, and I know how to navigate using a compass and stuff. And then I taught myself during the campaign how to navigate with stars and why we do it and how it develops. So then I was like, okay, let me make a star map. So I started making star maps.
So are you bringing in the same aspect of where you have with the game, where the characters are going to grow and get older and things like that, and you're on that journey with them? Mm-hmm. Are you bringing that into the comic as well?
Yes, sir.
Very
it's
nice.
Kind of the start of the start. Yeah, it all ties together in one big epic.
How many comics are planned in the series?
People have asked me, and when I say it, they're all like, oh my God. I'm thinking it'll take me 10 good comics to cover the character base that I'm going to be focusing on for that series. But I've got this book, the next 2, and that'll complete my kind of prologue into that. And then I got 10. So altogether about 13 books. And then, so I'm like, yeah, that'll be my career as far as comic career. That'll take me a long time to do. But I do have the story marked for what book would cover what. Even, maybe I can merge this into this. Like, it's very open. But I do have it all charted out. I know it's open for writing. It's open for little details, but the overarching main plot points and even map movements I got. So
very nice.
And the more I get done, the more details I can pull on. That's what world building.
All right. One. Well, I got 2 more questions actually, but this one. For you, in terms of developing the game, developing the comic, what were some of the hurdles you faced?
I mean, outside of just trying to have a place to live and pay bills.
Yeah, just
outside of that,
creation-wise, in terms of both, like anything that really you were trying to problem solve on either one.
I mean, the big thing is when you're dealing with like a lore, an idea in your head, or a world and a lore that's so kind of experimental, kind of dense. And you are tying it together and making sense of it, but it was trying to zone all that in through one character's eyes, or a handful of them. And then what did that experience really feel? You really, like, for me, I really had to dive in deeper than I thought I would have to with all the world building and character stuff. But it's like, no, that's all the environment. You gotta see it through their eyes outwardly and see how that's all driving their motivations. And that's what was nuts, is starting to get into it a lot more. I don't know if it was a challenge, but it's something I wasn't prepared for. I could talk to you about the art too, like 300 DPI, 11 by 17, where you're gonna shrink it to a standard. Why am I doing all that art? Why don't I just create it digitally? I know, because comic books are usually done traditionally, or they have been. That's the standard, And then here's the other thing: if you want to do enlargements, or release a big book, or it gives you options because it's been the norm for a while. So yeah, create it digitally at 11 by 17, 300 DPI, and have fun, Jeremy. Because I don't use big thick brushes. If you look at my art, I'm using a 0.2. hard line for all of my inks on a 300 DPI 11 by 7. You have to be nutty.
That's going to be a thin line, man.
You have to be nutty to do this. So
Yeah,
I
your
don't
stuff
advise
is
it.
it's incredibly detailed, and
Yeah.
you're coloring it as well.
Yes, sir.
So you're literally doing everything on it. Writer, artist, inker, colorer, colorist,
Penciler.
letterer.
Yeah.
It's like, my mind is. I'm writing and lettering, King Cryptid. Thank you very much.
King Crypto is awesome.
Whew. And thank you, man. Did you get a chance to read them?
I have not yet.
All right. Do you have them 1 to 4?
I think I have 1 through 4. I've ordered some stuff from you.
Oh,
Pretty
no
sure.
way. Nice.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you
All that-
have.
Yeah, pretty sure. All that
Holy
time.
smokes. Thank you, man.
I have to read
I
up.
had no idea.
I think so.
I ship out so many things to so many people. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, you're doing great stuff over there. I know you and Joe were talking about like when you're printing and like high numbers. That's when you're getting like your books. So yeah, that's a big. You're brave, dude.
Brave or stupid? Maybe a little bit of both.
I follow stupid bravery. I like it.
You gotta be a little. You gotta be a little stupid to put yourself in situations where you need to be brave.
Yeah, so Bancroft's watching me draw my book at that, talking on the same level. He's going, "What are you doing? Why aren't you like you're using a 0.2? Like you're not." And I'm cross hatching every surface like with a 0.2. Yeah, you have to be a little nuts to do some original stuff from time to time. I don't see anything else looking like it. So,
and do you draw traditionally at all, or do you stick to digital?
I mean, I'm only doing digital because I traditionally trained. So moving from that into game development was real hard. It wasn't that hard. Again, I had to get used to digital. Like in 2012, that's when I got that. That's when I got the game job with Joe. So I was kind of, here's Photoshop and here's a tablet mouse pad that you can try to draw on this side and do the whole thing. I got used to that. Joe showing me some cool tricks. He's really technically, as an artist, like in a designer, Joe is technically pinpoint accurate on everything. And
oh yeah, Joe's great.
I learned a lot from that kind of planning and technicality attention rather than my, oh, I'm just going to throw color and line and all that. Like, he's like, no, it's got to, I learned a lot working with his technicality next to me. It was awesome.
When it comes to, now, when it comes to your story,
mm-hmm.
What can people expect from it? What's the story all about? Who were they following that journey along with?
All right. Well, the main thing that I'm kind of going for also sounds pretty cliche, so I'm going to hopefully put my own spin to it, but carry the light through the darkness. Like, this is not going to be a, butterfly and roses adventure, even for the kids in the game. Like, I'm going to be pushing them to some emotional, edges. That way we can get that connection to them. This is not going to be easy for them to do. Loss, betrayal, all that stuff, it's all coming in, and these are 10, 11, and 12-year-old kids that are going to have to try to figure out, one, how are we walking and surviving during all that, and fighting all these things for kids. But, and then it gets into some Einstein and Rosen bridges, which are wormholes. You get certain things that are happening with multiverse theory in its back lore. A lot of that. So a lot of RPGs and like Final Fantasies, they're going to take this little village kid who lost his parents and his village and all got burned down, and he's going to grow into something that can kill a god in the end of the game. So. To get to that part, we have to do politics. We have to get crazy with the science and the magic. We have to keep your interest while we're growing all the way to this epic, we're going to save the planet or save the universe or save existence as it is,
That's a large-scale story.
Yeah. So trying to keep the audience along the way is, I would say, the hardest thing, but the most important thing. It kind of... that's what's going to drive us. It's not about trying to tell the biggest story. It's about trying to cultivate maybe you don't want to be your hero when it happens. If you see a guy getting beat up outside and it's an obvious drunk fight, and there's a baby crying in the car that he's getting beat up on. I'm 6'4". I've actually done this, and it's not a good idea. But you try to stop stuff like that. Who's going to? And I'm lucky I didn't die.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You don't know what people are, and it's crazy, but someone's got to do something. So if I can instill some sort of hope in anyone by developing a character that grows with them, seeing what they're going through, maybe inspire something in people. Like, I'm developing the stories because people inspired me. So I'm pulling a lot from that from all these years, So I'm hoping I'm going to capture some of that along the way and hoping it serves anybody good. So hope it's pretty along the way.
It's always interesting to me when I meet people like you that are very into the world building aspect, where I start thinking we have got to have descended from beings that build worlds as well, because it to me it's there's no other excuse, there's no other explanation for it.
Why do we do it, right?
Yeah, why would we even be compelled to do that at all? And not just you do it because imagination or whatever that abstract concept is, but there's so much about world building in that way, that when you were talking about it earlier in the show, where you're building a world that feels like lived in, real, you could be in it. You don't just have, here's a person who exists in a place, but there's a large scope and scale to it, and there's animals and plants, and there's this, and it's a whole fleshed out thing. And so many people do that kind of stuff, and then even more people are attracted to that kind of stuff. It just, there's got to be something about human beings and it's not just the escapism aspect, but even that in and of itself.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, feels like we're all like, is Earth really our home? Why are we so trying to constantly have an outlet and an escape and not feel like, how many people really feel like they're truly here? And have always, like they feel at peace and that they should be here. I've talked to so many people that feel like, no, I never have felt really like I belong here. You might feel like you belong with people or whatever, and even then sometimes, but out of time, out of place. So it's really interesting to me when I talk to people like you that are very good at world building, and you're creating this thing, and let's face it, and I say this with all the love in the world, and it's a compliment because I'm the same way. You're obsessed, right? You're obsessed with building this world. I'm fascinated by that.
I think it's my way of communicating me to everyone that, it gives me a purpose of when I die, what can I look back on? Did I make a mark? Did I do something with all of that time spent drawing, coloring, going through detention, coloring in detention, getting out of detention, going to college, doing it, trying to live off of it, doing tattoos to still try to pay bills, I'm trying to find a way of making this something that when I look back on my deathbed, I'm cool later.
That compulsion to create.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And I love when people have it, and you've got such an energy about you with it, and you're so excited about it that, like, you'll interrupt yourself because that other idea came in to be like, oh, I want to talk about that part now, because you're so excited about it. I love that, man. It's great. It really is. And so what's down the line for you in terms of what you have going on with the comic and the game, and anything else you'd like to talk about too?
Well, I'm really concentrated on trying to get the art for the book done. I've got the writing part of it. I got a couple more edits I want to do, go through it just to hone up on some of the language or some of the lines or add in a little details here or there. But I'm aiming to have the art done around Christmas. I've been saying before Christmas, but it's been a full moon this week. It's been crazy. So
I hear ya.
Yeah, and your sale, your full moon sale. I mean, that's great. That always makes it nicer. But I'm trying to get the art done by then. I'll get the letters done after I need to get the printer figured out so I can get the template to put the letters into it in the right way, and hopefully get this delivered in the first quarter of next year if I can get the printer lined up and everything.
Nice.
After that, Joe is advising me to jump into the next book, which I already have partially thumbnailed. I know the stories, what's going on. I got a couple of the sections already thumbnailed. He says, go right into it while I'm fulfilling. Like, don't wait, keep drilling, keep going. As far as the game is concerned, I mean, we're close to being out of pre-production, but at this point, we really need to start getting the team together. So to build that, to fill out those 18 jobs, even getting some of them to, make some of these systems to fill them out in the code in Unreal. That'd be great. If anyone knows Unreal, hey, hit me. Might need you real quick for some subcontract jobs. Like, we'll pay a few bucks to make sure this works out. But from there, it's trying. We've had a couple publishers hit us up. We've done our research on them. When they hit up, not only were we not ready, but it didn't seem good. And now that we waited and saw the outcome of it, we're even like, whew, dodged a bullet there. So they're coming to us. I think it's time for me and us to start looking out. So after I get the comic done,
great, man.
That fulfilled, I'll be shifting gears, trying to end the comic next. I can't. You all see the artwork, but when it's printed, it took a lot of time to do that, and everyone's going, but we want to see your traditional stuff. So Joe did traditional pencils and went right to color for Star Circuit, and it looked great. So the next book might be done pencils traditional, and I'll digitally color like I have been. It'll retain a lot of the style, but it will look a little different if I do that. And it's not a dead set decision yet, because I want to see how everyone reacts to the printed version of this book. And see what y'all are thinking. And if anyone's open, I'll even do a test page. Be like, hey, here's the new style I'm looking at. What do y'all think? I need something that's going to make it go faster, because this took too long and it's too many hours. Everyone's taught me. It's like,
about how long did it take you?
Each page is, because the density of the detail is at a cover level, each page is taking 100 hours.
Holy smokes.
And right now, for the past, this is week 4.
There's the obsession I'm talking about.
This is week 4 of me doing my crunch schedule. It used to take me 2 weeks to do a page. Now, and that's from the thumbnails to full color and finished. Now I'm doing it in a week, but I'm working 16 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm trying to get it done. I need it done. We all need it done. So I don't advise it. If you do try it, get good sleep, get your vitamins, eat well. You have to be a monk to try to do this. So I don't advise it.
Man, oh man.
Yeah. But once it's done, I can bet no one's gonna try to do it for a while. So
I'm gonna show your site for a second here too.
It needs to be updated. Sorry, guys.
So people can get an idea. Because I'm like, maybe people aren't going to go click on it, and they really should.
Oh, if you want to, I don't know.
Where's which one here will have the comic?
The comic is the top on the right, all the way on the right.
Okay.
And I got my Photoshop if you wanted to screen share it. But yeah, the Beckon site. Smokes. Oh yeah, that's the wrap cover for the book. So my cover of the book, because we had this one, we have Shantan Jetty that did an alternate cover as well. I got the original. That guy's an amazing painter. But this is my cover. It's a wrap cover, so you all know what that. Joe said it's his favorite cover, so I took that with a lot of heart that he said that. I was like, hell yeah. There's sorry, Pete. Well, when I did this is the page that kind of everyone was like, oh crap, what are you doing, dude? So this is my page 1 and 2.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
back then.
This is what I'm talking about. Where I'm aware of what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
but in case someone's like, he's probably just messing around for 100 hours. You know, this guy. This
Yeah.
is incredible stuff. This is mind blowing. What's
Thank
wrong
you.
with you, man?
No. I've been again, like you were saying, it's like, why do we do this? I want to transport you there.
It's
You know, I
great.
want to be able, like, so this cover is, there's a circular motif with the poses and the layout and the way it's done. There's some visionary crystal magic that they're doing in this book that you guys will be reading. So I wanted this page to be, or the cover to be a like a subliminal portal or a vision for yourself, for the reader, of what the book's going to be. So I'm into trying to play off every subliminal context I can in the art.
Yeah, I
That
got your
Shant's cover, it's awesome.
Yeah, I got your Indiegogo up. You said this is closed right now.
Yes,
but
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you could see there's a ton of stuff, man. I would have loved to seen Jim Henson tackle this back in the day.
Oh, Dark Crystal's a big inspiration. I mean, back to what you were talking about, these stories, is like I was saying, you got Wizard of Oz, never-ending story, yeah, the Labyrinth, like you were saying, there's always this feeling that we're wanting to be somewhere else, kind of thing. I love those type of stories, but I think it is that we can come back from those. I think that's the other thing with those type of stories, is that they go on these adventures, but then they have to come back to the real world. And I was always like, yeah, I bet Bastion got picked on after he's coming back talking about Alcor Dragon. You know, like, I'm sure he got picked on. But these things are fun. I mean, if you ever saw Return to Oz, that got creepy.
Oh, yeah. I love Return to Oz. Man, that is a dark movie.
Yeah.
But it's so good. Creepy as hell, some of the parts in it, too. Man. But incredible. Oh, incredible. And the fact that I don't even know if any, very, very little CGI was used in that. Very, very little. So many practical effects. Even that dude that played
Legend, yeah, with Tom Cruise.
Well, Legend, forget it, right? With Tim Curry in that part. But in Return to Oz, his name is TikTok, isn't it?
Yeah, TikTok.
I'm like, is that just? Yeah, his name's TikTok. The dude was on his. I don't know if you ever saw it. He's standing on his hands inside of the.
It's nuts, like a contortionist, right? He's like at the waist and having to hobble around like that. It's nuts.
Freaking love TikTok, not the app, but in Return to Oz.
I just saw you doing an internet dance in my head.
Yeah.
About being an artist, you're very visual, and it's a weakness.
Right? Yeah, that movie's that movie's great. That movie's great. But your stuff to me feels at home in those iconic, legendary stories, and I feel like a total jackass because I missed the first one. When you do the second one, please, are you going to offer the first one? Or are you printing more so that you could? Okay, good.
Of course,
can catch up then.
And you'll be able, after I deliver them, I'm going to put them up on my website after I give it a facelift, so you'll be able to get a copy.
Oh,
of it.
good.
I'll have more than enough copies, so we'll be fine. But yeah. So I'm sorry I closed on everyone. I just don't feel right. Like, I'm already late. I just want to finish it. I just want to fulfill and be good with it. We can move forward after that.
Man, oh man.
The Wheelers. Sorry, I just saw.
Oh, the Wheelers. Yeah. Holy smokes. Yeah, those dudes are creepy. But man, thank you so much, Jeremy, for being here tonight. It was a great conversation, a lot of fun. I gotta have you on again, and we can have several other conversations. But so you're fulfilling, you said first quarter roughly 2024.
I'm aiming for
and when are you aiming for the launch of the next campaign? Do you know?
We'll see.
All right, I'll have you on before then.
Yeah,
I'll have you on probably
And a lot of you guys, I'm on Twitter, so I mean, or the X, suck it, whatever they did in the wrestling days.
Yeah,
You know, I think that's why
I don't mind dead naming Twitter.
I think it's what he did
Sorry,
it. You know?
Elon.
But no, I'm there, so I'm always posting there
X.
or my YouTube channel. So
I
y'all
keep telling people I'm on X. They're gonna be like, I didn't know you're that kind of guy, Pete.
right.
In multiple ways, right? If I say I'm on X, you're like, yeah, he looks like he would be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm on X, you know, and they're like, well, I mean, okay, yeah, hey, I guess times are tough. You got to do what you can to make some money. I'm like, oh, you know,
Kill the boy.
Twitter. I'm on Twitter. Man, oh man, you know, I'll have you on when let me know when you're done with fulfillment, and
sir.
you've got stuff listed on your site. And then we'll have you back on again, and we'll do that. Depending on how long that might be, like if you think that might be April or something like that, I gotta have you on before then.
I'll let you know.
So yeah, let me know.
This has been awesome.
Absolutely, man.
And keep it up, keep getting. I mean, I'm not talking about me, but you got some cool guests. Like,
oh, you're cool too, man. Like, you're cool too. Ain't no one on this show that ain't cool. That's for sure. Well, maybe me, but you know, you guys make me look cool. Yeah, great stuff. And everybody go check out everything that Jeremy has to offer. I've got the links in the description of the show. And if I don't have your site, I'm going to put your site in there in just a couple of minutes. Everyone have a great evening. I'm going to be back tomorrow. We've got an art auction at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. And I've got 8 other amazingly talented, wonderful people coming on. We got Robert Geronimo, Tyler Wentland, Fabrizio Aiello, Keir Covington, Kelsey Shannon, Joe M. Sontag, Dan Dahl, Preston Azevedo. Man, just it's gonna be wild. There's some really cool stuff, and I have some pretty fun stuff for you guys too. I'll save it as a surprise for tomorrow night. But I will say that I do have the proofs from the printer for the upcoming Alterna books, so I'll have those available for sale, but I'll also have some other stuff that's going to make you guys go, what? But yeah, come back, 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night, an art auction on here with 8 other wonderful people as well. We'll be back at that point after Sunday. Do I have a Sunday show? Yes, no. Sunday, I'm going to be on the Alterna channel. We got to launch a campaign for winter apparel and merch, and then I'll also be on Death Metal Hero Sunday night. For a second, I was like, Luke's not coming on here. So yeah, I'll be over there Sunday night. Other than that, everybody have a great evening, a great night, and a wonderful, even better, spectacular tomorrow. See you guys. And see you too, Jeremy.
See you, man. Thanks again.